Oh, hello again. Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog on the Live Sound 101 YouTube channel. I can't believe I just said hello again. It's one of my, a YouTuber that I watch all the time always says that at the beginning of his videos. And it's just interesting that my default is just to go to that because I watch so many of these things that when I go to record one, it just kind of comes out naturally. So, interesting. Hello again. This is a media report for July 17th, 2016. I don't have my little piece of paper with me because I don't know where it went. I had it in my pocket all day yesterday. I didn't get to record the video because I didn't get any time in my car after church. But I want to do a media report to let everybody know how things went. So this is my first time back in action after going down to Florida for about 2 weeks on a little vacation down in West Palm Beach in the Orlando area. And back up here doing live sound, and we've still got the backup system deployed because we had this like time code error happening that was crazy, and then Josh switched everything over to the backup system. And if you've been following along the videos, I went in and did some troubleshooting and fixed the problem. I thought I fixed the problem. I'll get more on that later on in this video when I start driving. But the main things in the report were the dB level. We always measure dB-SPL. We measure the max at the back of the room, A-weighted, with a slow setting or slow calibration there. So we hit about 90.7. Well, we hit exactly 90.7 dB-SPL A-weighted during the service yesterday. Josh and Cait were up. They had a whole band with them, and they had the VBS stuff up there, so they were kind of crowded up on stage there because this week, actually starting today, it's VBS week. And if you don't know what VBS is, I mean, if you're in the church tech world, you know what that is: Vacation Bible School. So it's where our church opens up to the community, and it's kind of like a free summer camp. Our church does it for free. It's kind of like an outreach thing. If you're looking for something fun for your kids to do, it's kind of like a little mini summer camp from like 8 to noonish, like that. And you come, you do activities, you sing songs, they learn things. It's just it's really fun. They deck out the church, they decorate it. I'll show some clips at the end of this video. I walked around with my phone, just recording some little snippets of the mix during rehearsal. So I'll put those clips at the end of this video, like I've been kind of getting in the habit of doing. And what was the other thing I wanted to mention? I wanted to mention the dB levels. I wanted to mention how difficult it is using the backup system from just an operational standpoint, having an analog board that is not remote controllable. It's like you can't take, a device, Wi-Fi enabled device, down on the floor and move around to different zones. Or we've got like the front of house mix, the monitor mix, the overflow mix, broadcast mix. We've got like 5 mixes in ear monitors happening on any given Sunday. And I tell you what, just to do it all on one analog board, it's kind of challenging just because of where our board is located up a flight of stairs. It's just like you can't hear how it really sounds down on the floor. So you have to like run up the stairs, make a tweak, run back down, listen, and multiply that by however many zones you're mixing. It can be challenging. So those are like the 2 main things I wanted to say in this report. Kind of a lightweight report. Things went pretty well, more or less. Like I said, it was challenging to get the dB levels just right because it's really hard to be in 2 places at the same time. But with that, let's drive. Let's go ahead and drive, and I'll keep chatting as I drive to work this morning. And yeah, I did want to talk about this backup system that we're using. I want to talk about why we're using it still and why I have no plans to switch back over to the primary system. So one of the things I've been doing is I did that troubleshooting video, part 1 and part 2, and was able to fix the problem, so I thought. And the problem came back. So I really like when there's a problem that presents itself, because it's an opportunity for me to learn something. It's an opportunity for me to put on my thinking cap, so to speak, and do some troubleshooting, try to figure out you know, what's happening. I mean, it feels, that sounds weird kind of saying it out loud, but you know, it's awful when there's a problem, right? You know, you never want there to be problems with the system, but on one hand, there's an experience that you're going to get out of trying to figure out what happened. And so I was all excited before vacation because we were able to flip that little master clock switch and get the problem to go away. And we were able to flip the master clock into slave mode, and the problem came back, and I was able to flip it back into master on unit A of the analog to digital converters. And we thought we found the smoking gun. I mean, I recorded it, saw the noise go away. I mean, it's just, I thought we had this problem more or less figured out. And the interesting thing about that is, after we had the problem fixed, I did sound with the backup system, and I turned the main system on in the background, monitoring what was happening. No problems for a whole service. I go away for a couple weeks, come back. Oh, you know what? The backup system is still set up. You know what? I'll use the backup system one more time. And you know what? Just for kicks, you know, I'm thinking the whole time is, you know, it'd be nice if we could switch over to the primary system again so we could have remote control. But I'm thinking, you know, I didn't have time to do it, so we'll just hold off on that. And you know, just for kicks, yesterday during the service, I'm like, let me turn on the primary system and just monitor it in the background and see what happens. As soon as I turned it on, that crazy time code error was back again. So now I'm thinking, like, this is really weird. And I tried to do the fix that I did last time by taking the master clock out of master and putting it back in, and that fix did not work. So oh geez, I got a tractor here. I wonder if I can sneak by him. I'll try to do it. I don't want to get stuck behind a tractor. Those guys only go like 15 miles an hour. So now I'm kind of baffled again, and just zooming out, looking at the whole, like, the big picture about what's happening with this time code error. Like, this is like the popping, the clicking, the horrible noise that's coming through the system. It dates back to a year ago where we had a similar problem, and it was traced back to one device, a Behringer ADA 8000. We replaced that device, and the problem went away for a year. Now the problem's back again, and we've got, well, even zooming back even further. So we started off with 4 ADA 8000s. One of them failed. I didn't diagnose it, but it was somebody else diagnosed that one of them failed. Then it was replaced. And when we replaced it with an ADA 8200. Then a year later, another one failed, and I did diagnose that one, and we replaced it with another 8200. So we have 2 8000s and 2 8200s. Now we're having a year goes by, we're having another problem, and I don't know. I even made a video down when I was in West Palm Beach, sitting out by the canal, this is, could this be classic Behringer cheapness being experienced in real life? And, I didn't really know for sure, because time code can be a tricky beast, but the more I think about it, and from like a business standpoint, you think about how much these things cost. I'm almost inclined to just get rid of the 2 8000s, because they seem to be the source of all the problems, and just, for short money, just make them all 8200s, because it appears as though it's Unit A that is malfunctioning somehow, whether it's not able to cut the mustard in terms of being a master clock, or whatever. But it definitely from what I've observed, it seems like the problems are traced back to unit A. So I'm just wondering if maybe the next step would be to take both the 8000s, 8080s out of the signal chain altogether, and just go right to the 8200 and see if we can get a 16 channel system syncing properly using those the newer version of the Behringer analog to digital converters. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And the other thing that I'm thinking is maybe it's time to cut our losses and just upgrade to a new digital board. So those are the types of things that I'm thinking about, because I mean, how much more time, think about how much time we've spent troubleshooting this problem, trying to figure out what's what, and then how much time it would be to just get a new, like we've been kind of having our eyes on those new Soundcraft Performer series. I think it's the SI Performers. Those ones look like they might be pretty good. And think about like the complexity of the system right now. I mean, we've got the four analog to digital converters going ADAT to a sound card, which is plugged into a custom built PC. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can go wrong there, versus if you buy a purpose-built digital board, everything's it eliminates a lot of troubleshooting steps along the way, and a lot of different things in the signal path that may not, that on paper look like they can work together, but in real life, like we're finding out right now, things can go smoothly for about a year, and all of a sudden some random thing crops up. It's like, is this related to a Windows update? Is it, you know what I mean? Is it related to a firmware update? Because when you think about, so I have one more bit of digging to do in terms of troubleshooting research. So I was thinking about this before, and I've talked about it in many of these videos. We've got the digital converters, we've got the ADAT toslink cable, and we've got the computer. So those three things. But if I zoom in a little bit closer, the computer is really broken up into two pieces. So we've got the computer, or the motherboard of the computer internally, but we've also got the sound card that takes in all these ADATs, and that is an RME HDSPE RADAT. So that is the model number of the ADAT sound card we have. It goes for about $1,000, and it has 4 pairs of 8-channel ADAT in and out, right? So you get 32 discrete digital audio inputs and 32 outputs over these ADAT light pipe toslink connections. So timecode passes through that. Timecode passes through SAC. So there's like, if you break up the SAC computer into like layers, you've got the software audio console layer, where you've got timecode settings. You've got the sound card layer, where there's this Hammerfall DSP mixer software that's working with, as an intermediary between the physical sound card that plugs into the back of the computer, the PCI bus or whatever. It's an internal sound card, but that communicates from the RME hardware to Windows essentially, and then there's Windows that's also in there. That's a gap between software audio console and the Hammerfall software. So Hammerfall, there's time code going through there, and I just did some light reading about the RME Hammerfall DSP mixer software, and apparently it says something about smart time code management or something along those lines. So I'm like, holy cow, this is a whole nother area where I haven't really done much digging and troubleshooting, and that's in the signal chain. So things are pretty complicated. So This media report is getting pretty long. It's about 15 minutes right now. I have changed the format of recording to 720p here so I can go longer if I want to, because, you know, with these types of videos, I'm imagining people listening in the background where they're working or doing something else. So this isn't the type of thing that you're going to necessarily be glued to your screen watching every little thing. So I kind of forgot about the whole front-facing, rear-facing camera. I was doing that for a while, and I don't know if that really even adds a whole lot of value. So anyway, but this is a chance for me to kind of talk through where we are with troubleshooting the system and think of next steps. So I think I'm at the point where I'll dig a little bit more into I'll look up the spec sheets about the RME stuff. I got to talk to Rich too, because Rich was the brainchild for this whole system and did the initial research and put it all together. So I do want to do some digging and figure out some stuff, and then probably have a phone call with Rich just to say, hey, you know, we're having this weird thing. Maybe there's some internal setting that needs to change or something like that, you know, some bit of knowledge. But I mean, the general idea of time code is you've got one device that is a master clock, and then you've got other devices connected to it that are all set to slave. So one master, and then everything else is slave. The baffling thing is that things were working fine for a year. Nothing changed that seems to, you know, add up to anything. It doesn't seem like there's anything related to time code that specifically changed, and all of a sudden we're having these problems. And it seems like they're related to time code somehow. So is there like a Windows thing that possibly did that? I don't think that computer has been updated to Windows at all, but you know, we do have people that like help out around the church, and they'll do like computer updates and stuff like that every once in a while, and it'd be impossible for them to know that, you know, a software update or an operating system update could potentially cause issues like this, right? But I think we're still running Windows 7 on this machine here. Although, no, you know what? Now that I think about it, did we upgrade to Windows 10? I can't even remember. See, there's so many different things you've got to think about when you have a system like this. And it almost makes me think that maybe a purpose-built digital board would be just purely based on the amount of troubleshooting and just to keep the system stable. You know what I mean? Just for stability reasons, have a device. Now I know you know, physical boards can fail too, but I think the chances of having issues like we're having wouldn't be as high. So I don't know. Maybe we're experiencing the Behringer burn, so to speak. That's what happens when you go with the cheapest of the cheap. Don't know. That's kind of where we're at today. This is a really long video, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, it's rehearsal on what is it today?
Yes.
July. What's the date when you need it?
Yes. July
17th. All right, rehearsal. Sunday morning, July 17th. We're still using the backup board, and it's a good thing, because it looks like we're having that word clock issue again. And what I did to fix it last time is not fixing it this morning. And this isn't hooked up to anything. I'm just playing around with a software audio console in the background. So it's actually not hooked up to anything. Everything's coming through here, so you're not hearing any of the problems. But visually, I can see. We got some issues there, and the fix I did last time isn't working.